Hi everyone. This is a welcome into August conversation for brothers who are attending our Flesh and Spirit potluck and queer men who are wanting to follow kind of the themes of what we're developing and kind of go inside and build community through this process that we've been on. August's theme is about appearance, profiling, and preference. And I think as gay or queer men, we know a lot about all of those things. You know, I think about growing up as a teenager many years ago, before all of the kind of changes that have happened in gay and queer liberation that we're seeing and benefiting from recently. But, you know, as a queer boy growing up, you know, I was a white man, I was a white boy, and so, you know, I had white privilege, and I could pass as straight if I chose to. So unlike many folks who get profiled, I could pass if I needed to pass. And so I think there's a way in which we who identify as queer oftentimes have kind of a different relationship with these words. But thinking about, I tell you a funny story that's happened recently. So, you know, I've been growing my beard out more fully, and in the past like 6 months, and I'm very aware that appearance change. I've had a beard for a long time, but never quite so fully. And what's happened is all of a sudden men who like their preference is beards, or really preferences for what they think of as a more masculine look that they attribute that, you know, all of a sudden I'm getting all this attention that I wasn't getting before. But there was another layer to it that was even more interesting to me, and that was all of a sudden there were all these brothers who were Arab and Muslim brothers who were being attracted to me just because my appearance had changed. But then the funny thing happened, and you know, I loved all that. I mean, hey, great, fun attention. But then somebody who was not coming, it was actually a straight man coming from a more traditional Christian background, entrepreneur, and following me on Facebook. And one day he just wrote me and just said, "Kirk, are you a Muslim?" And I understood immediately what this word might feel like for some of our Muslim brothers and sisters. I remember during the war that started in Afghanistan, that I really thought that was the wrong thing to do, and went to the streets and basically said, you know, this is not the right response, even though I understood what it was all about. And part of my solidarity that I wanted to do with Muslim brothers and sisters was actually, I started joining all kinds of Muslim organizations that were moderate, progressive Muslims who were committed to social justice and peace in the world. And so I really got a sense of what it was to identify with the Muslim community and be in solidarity with them. So I'm going to change this story for you a second, just to kind of get you cooking with me about appearance, profiling, and preference, and how we need categories, but do those categories bring us together, or do those categories actually separate us and alienate us, or actually create pain or wedges or even hate and violence? when I was an adjunct professor at the University of Cincinnati, I taught a behavioral medicine class around surviving and thriving with AIDS. And at the time, I gave my students the option of doing several different projects as experiences for them to write about and to really crawl into the skin of someone who is HIV positive. So I bought all these t-shirts that said just HIV positive and great big bold letters, and had them then go out on the streets wearing those t-shirts and just seeing what they felt and what the people around them at the time, how they responded to them. So appearance, profiling, and preference. As gay and queer men, we have so much fun with appearances, and I mean, we're bears, we're leather men, we're fairies, so there are so many different kind of personas that we love to embody that really play in here, and yet the charged word is profiling. And when does the category actually separate us? For some of you who may be watching this, it's maybe months or even years after this experience, but just yesterday was the release of news about George Zimmerman, who had killed Trayvon Martin. And in thinking about profiling, about a teenage black boy in a hoodie outfit was killed, and you may have all kinds of opinions and thoughts about whether that was just, not just, but the culture of profiling, and how does it separate us? How does it bring us together, or can it? Because profiling in and of itself creates an otherness. So the last thing I'd point in, and this is going to be our conversation, is really about how can we be inclusive and still have fun with appearance and preference, but not get caught into the trap of profiling. So this is our juicy little intro, and there are going to be about 5 more videos to kind of follow this up to grow this conversation with you. So we'd love to hear from you about what you think about appearance, about profiling, and about preference, especially as a gay or a queer man. So hope this gets you fired up, and namaste.